Welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video. So today I got 7 sleeper CGC 9.8 comics that you can buy right now. Yeah, I love these sleeper lists. And in the title, like the buy right now, I just mean like these 9.8s. The prices aren't inflated or anything like that. Like you can get out there and get these ones at a pretty fair price. And I like to really kind of stick in that zone when I'm collecting. And along those lines too, like if there's one thing you do get from the channel here, it's just to don't be the guy that's chasing hot books all the time. You know, usually the hot books means high prices, and I always like to just do a little soul searching and think independently about what you want to buy and what you love, rather than like listening to a Disney announcement and going to buy that, and then, oh, a new show's coming out, now I gotta buy that book. Oh, the movie's coming out, now I gotta go buy those. Like, just be a little more independent, I think, and you'll end up probably purchasing a lot more books for like a more fair price, and maybe even enjoying some of the prices when you own them when they get hot at a certain time. Much more savvy way to collect. But let's get right into the 7 sleeper CGC 9.8 comics that you can buy right now. So the first one is a cover that I've absolutely loved for a long time, and I've almost purchased it a couple times. It's a Star Wars number 94 in the CGC 9.8. Yeah, this classic Ewok cover. And I almost want this even more now. Doing a little research, I feel like the prices are dipping even a little bit, which is pretty great, I think, for this book. If we have a look on the census here, though, 44 9.8s in the blue label, so not a lot of them out there, too. A really cool collector item, I think, in the 9.8. Certainly, if, like, I really loved Return of the Jedi when I was growing up, and then the Ewoks kind of have the party at the end and everything, and they really help them out. So I've always been a huge Ewok fan, I gotta say. 39.6% is the 9.8 ratio. So of all graded copies, 39.6% of them are 9.8s. This is like a mid-80s book, I think, so nothing to really write home about there in the 9.8 rarity, and that's why it's pretty affordable. And looking on Go Collect, though, I was pretty surprised to see the fair market value at $90 in the CGC 9.8. I'm pretty sure, like, throughout the last 3 years here, let's call it, even earlier on in my 9.8 collecting, I saw this one going for $150, you know, $160 kind of level. So if you can get one for $90, like it says on Go Collect in the CGC 9.8 white page, is looking really cool. Like, I think that is such a great buy right now. Yeah, a really cool collector item. Like maybe the Ewoks, I don't even know if they're in the Mandalorian or not. I haven't even watched it, but yeah, I would imagine they're not because they probably just live on their own planet kind of thing. But they were such a cool character, and this is a really kind of you know, memorable Star Wars cover to collect, and it fits on a sleeper list right now. Like this is one you can just get for a good price, and you know, it's not really hot right now, but a great book nonetheless. Okay, next one here is G.I. Joe number 100, or G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, number 100. Yeah, speaking of just cool covers, both of these are kind of, you know, non-key awesome covers. Easily could have fit them on a couple of videos that we've done like that in the past couple of weeks here. But this is such a great Cobra Commander cover, and you just get all the classic looks and feel from G.I. Joe. And if you're a villains guy like me, like this has tempted me in the past, certainly. 24 CGC 9.8s out there. So one of those like great looking covers that there's not a lot in the 9.8. So this is a really cool collector item. Yeah, 39.3% is the CGC 9.8 ratio. And I didn't write down the year. I'm wondering if this is in the 90s or if it's still 80s. I think it is in the 90s. Looking on the 9.8s though, pretty surprised to see an auction on eBay that ended for $225 US dollars. Yeah, for a G.I. Joe 100 in the CGC 9.8. That's a little, I've sort of saw these occasionally sell throughout the years, and you know, in the 9.8, like 150, 175, maybe if you were really, really lucky, you'd get it close to 130 maybe or something in an auction kind of thing. But 225, this cover could be heating up, and I think for good reason. Yeah, this could be one that I think G.I. Joe fans just gravitate to more over time, and it's a really kind of wantable, cool cover that's not too expensive yet. I would think you know, that 225 seems a bit expensive. Hopefully you get it closer to 200 in the 9.8. But a really cool G.I. Joe non-key cover. That's so cool, though. Only one of 24. Like, this book's kind of my style. And, you know, this one could increase in price over time. And I just think right around the $200 mark makes a lot of sense if you're a G.I. Joe fan for this one. And fits on a sleeper list because, yeah, it's not like one of those big, obvious G.I. Joe key issues, I don't think. All right, the next one we'll get into on a sleeper list here is brought a couple of mine out here in the raw, actually. It's Dark Knight's Metal number 2. And we'll kind of get through all the variants here, but, you know, it made me think of some of the first appearances of the Batman Who Laughs. There was, yeah, it was a Decor Collectibles on Instagram. I was having a look at Instagram this morning and made me kind of think of, you know, some of the alternatives to the first full appearance of the Batman Who Laughs, like the Teen Titans 12. This is kind of the big expensive book in the 9.8 for good reason too. But I do want to talk about Dark Knight's Metal number 2 in the 9.8. The one I'll look at right now, the Mattina Virgin variant, Mattina Virgin Edition is what it's called on the CGC case, on the CGC census. So this is like a third printing of Dark Knight's Metal number 2. This book has the first cameo appearance of Batman Who Laughs, basically, the Batman Who Laughs. Read it this morning to kind of, I read it back in the day when it came out, back in the day, a couple of years ago, but a really cool sort of intro cameo to all the Dark Knights and the Batman Who Laughs. Like, it's over kind of multiple pages and panels where, like, the Robins come first and they're like, what the heck? And then at the end, all in like a huge kind of spread of all the Dark Knights with the Batman Who Laughs kind of in the middle. So it really is like a legit awesome cameo in this one. Almost a first appearance. That's why I think it's pretty much on record, like Scott Snyder, who wrote the thing, said this is the first appearance of the Batman Who Laughs. Dark Knight's Metal number 2. Although Teen Titans 12 has kind of stolen the fire a bit. I think they're both really cool. So the Mattina Virgin Edition on the census, there's 201 CGC 9.8s, and this is the one with the Batman Who Laughs on the cover. It is a third printing, I believe. 201 9.8s in this Virgin Edition out there. 94.4% the 9.8 ratio, so almost all of them graded are 9.8s. So for this Virgin Edition, I think right around 100, maybe even a little bit under in the 9.8 white pages is a good price. There's the trade dress versions of Dark Knight's Metal number 2 in the 9.8. I think there's one in the United States for maybe $75.99 or best offer. So it's one that you can get for like a really affordable price. So I think this is a great one, actually, because obviously I also grabbed the Dark Days of the Casting. This has the first cameo appearance that predates this of the Batman Who Laughs. But when you read them, Dark Days of the Casting, it's literally a shadow. It's like this shadow, and you can tell he's the Batman Who Laughs because he's got the horns kind of thing. But it's a shadow of all the like 7 Dark Knights, I think there is, and you can kind of tell one of them is the Batman Who Laughs. Whereas this cameo is like a full page spread, and you see everything, like it's way cooler. Although this predates them, they're all kind of cool. But just to give you an idea, and then Batman Who Laughs is all throughout Teen Titans 12 in the story. He's like mind controlling the Riddler and stuff like that. But you know what? Dark Knight's Metal number 2, reading it this morning, it's a lot cooler, I think, than I sort of remembered it, the cameo of the Batman Who Laughs. So I really kind of want to drill down, I think, and grab one of these because they are just really cheap. Depending, if you want the trade dress, they're very cheap in the 9.8, hopefully like 60 to 70 bucks. In the Virgin variant, maybe 90 to 100. There are the first print versions of Dark Knight's Metal number 1, and I was looking on the CGC Dark Knight's Metal number 2. I was looking on the census, and it does say now first cameo appearance of the Batman Who Laughs on the census on the computer. I haven't saw that on a label though for a first print. I think that's a new edition. But the Dark Knight's Metal number 2, there's no in the first print. There's no real Batman Who Laughs cover. That's not until these Mattia ones in the third print. But I do like the Jim Lee cover of the first print the best. That might be one in the 9.8. And I think it was like 50 or 60 bucks. There was a couple completed listings. But Dark Knight's Metal number 2 has a really cool cameo of the Batman Who Laughs. And since I got these, I just feel as like a completionist thing. I might want to get a Dark Knight's Metal #2, and I think on a sleeper list, it's a good one right now that you can just get for a fair price, but it's really cool. And yeah, maybe consider that Mattina Virgin edition of this one. There's 201 in the 9.8, so there's quite a lot of those out there for a little bit under $100, I think is doable. Okay, let's move on here. Next one is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1, the 5th print. Yeah, so there is a 5th printing as well of Ninja Turtles #1, and I was really excited and surprised when I looked on the census for this one. I saw this one occasionally, but you do not see it very often, so I was thinking that maybe it is pretty rare in the 9.8. It is, yeah, 12 CGC 9.8s out there in this 5th printing. I really like this cover too, with like the red border, and yeah, this is all these printings. I've sort of covered the 4th printing saying I want that, and the 3rd printing I really want as well in the 9.8. They're all just amazing collector items, I think, but only 12 of this cool 5th printing. 15% the CGC 9.8 ratio, so of all graded copies, only 15% of them are 9.8, so favorable ratio as well. Yeah, this one is 1 to 1. When I looked at it on the census, I was like, oh, this one's going to be pretty expensive. Not seeing any completed listings on eBay, but Go Collect is saying the fair market value is $475 in the 9.8 white pages for a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 5th print. I mean, that's getting up there now, but I actually think this is a buy. This is, you know, any Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. This was a reprint, but it still came out in like 1988, I believe it was. So still one of the very early prints of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. And considering that it's very rare in the 9.8 too, yeah, I think for $475, this one's absolutely worth it. Yeah, it's, you know, that might seem expensive, but this is a really, you know, first appearance of the Turtles. The first print is like just ridiculous. I think it's like $70,000 in the 9.8 for the first print. I think there's 20 something of them out there. So this one with only 12, but you still get the classic story in the pages and a great cool cover, I think is worth $475. Still fits on a sleeper list too. I think these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle books are still a little bit overlooked as opposed to like Marvel and DC books kind of. So kind of a sleeper still. Okay, next one here is an Amazing Spider-Man #258. Yeah, this is when Spider-Man, he finds out that his black costume is of alien origin, is kind of an alien symbiote. So I think this has sort of picked up prominence as a key sort of in the last couple years here with the Venom movie and just people looking for kind of secondary Venom keys, and a cool cover too. And prices on these, I sort of, tapped out with this book over the last year and hadn't really saw it and didn't really look at any completed listings. But getting back to it, seeing how much they're sort of selling for now, it's more than what it was 6 to 12 months ago for me, because I didn't remember what they were selling for then. But really quick, on the census, 232 9.8s. Not too much for an Amazing Spider-Man book, and, you know, it is kind of a secondary key, but 35.6% the 9.8 ratio, so not too much to write home about there for a mid-80s book. So, and that's why it's not super expensive or anything like, you know, First Hobgoblin or 252. Obviously those are the bigger keys, but was pretty surprised to see some completed listings in the sort of 175 to 200 range, and Go Collect has it at 200 as the fair market value. So yeah, this one I think, you know, now that I think of it, it is on the sleeper list, but, you know, this one's maybe a little bit heated up with the Venom movies and things like that. So probably even in this environment, I would be pretty patient and try to get it near 175. I could see this one slowing down sort of after all the Venom movies maybe, but, you know, it's still an Amazing Spider-Man book, so it's got that classic trade dress and really collectible. So, I mean, you could do a lot worse, and I think, you know, under 200, I think would still be a pretty good buy right now. For Amazing Spider-Man 258, yeah, good sleeper one to consider, I think. Next one is a bit of a newer book, I would say, but a variant that I think is pretty special and maybe you could go after if you're into it. I want to talk about Absolute Carnage #1, the Bagley variant cover. So great cover, all the 90s vibes you'd ever want kind of thing. And actually, I found out that this cover was actually the original cover for Amazing Spider-Man 361, the first appearance of Carnage. yeah, it was going to be this cover. Apparently Marvel didn't like it, and they made, I think, Bagley and Emberlin do a new cover. But apparently this was the original one, and I really like it. Yeah, it's well done. When I saw it first as a variant, I didn't know it was the original, and immediately I was just like, wow, awesome 90s vibes Bagley, like throwback Bagley. So I kind of wanted it right away, and then someone had told me that, yeah, that was the actual original first cover for Amazing Spider-Man 361. So this could be collectible over time. 89 9.8s in the blue label. There's about the same in the Signature series too. This is a new book. Bagley kind of doing the con circuit during the time, so there's about equal amounts, I think it was, of 9.8s in the Signature series. 89% to 9.8 ratio, kind of typical with these new books, not very rare. For prices here, $125 to $150. You're sort of seeing the completed listings in that range. When this first came out, I almost tried to buy an auction on this one, and it ended like just over $100, and I was kind of hitting myself for maybe not going after it, but yeah, so maybe in an auction you get this like 110, 120, but I think every now and then someone's paying almost up to 150 for this one, because great cover, and because of that little backstory there, that it was the first cover of Amazing Spider-Man 361, this could just become more collected over time, and I kind of want it, so yeah, it fits on a sleeper list too. I know Carnage books are pretty hot right now, but I think this one's possibly still one that you can get at a kind of a decent fair price. Yeah, so hopefully under 150 in the CGC 9.8. Signed, yeah, I didn't really look for signed prices, but probably 200 to signed, maybe a little bit under would be a good deal. Okay, last book here, and yeah, this is one of my favorite kind of sleepers here. Batman issue 666. Yeah, this is the first time Damian Wayne becomes Batman, or you see Damian Wayne as Batman. And it's the first Professor Pig too, so really cool psychotic villain as well. But this is my favorite pick out of the whole run of this sort of run of the first appearance of Damian during this era of Batman. Because yeah, Batman 655, 656, cool covers and cool keys, but you just see like a kid Damian, like he's like a kid and that's it. You see him a little bit, like nothing's really going on that much. That was my impression of reading them anyway. Whereas 666, great read. You kind of see Damian as Batman, Tim Drake as Batman. There's like alternate universe stories going on, kind of, or alternate time stories going on. So this is kind of my pick out of the range. I'm just realizing too, I have two in the 9.8 and a raw copy, and for some reason I totally forgot to bring them out, but that's okay. We'll get a graphic up here. On the census, though, 222 CGC 9.8s in the blue label. So one of 222 collector item is pretty cool for kind of a modern book. There's way more of the Batman 655 normal first print. There's way more of those in the 9.8 on the census. Yeah, I like the cover better on this one, although the 655 cover is really cool too. 655 variant is a very collectible book too. That's so wantable. Yeah, that one's really growing on me. I kind of want that one too. That one's pretty expensive, but I think Batman 666 though is the kind of sleeper pick out of the range for sure. 52.8% the 9.8 ratio there, so just over half of them of all graded copies are 9.8s. $130 is the go collect fair market value right now, and yeah, you're seeing like $139.99, $129.99 on eBay. I picked up mine right around $110, and that was 6 to 8 months ago. Maybe my first one I bought about a year ago, and that was right about $110. I think one of them was maybe $100, but decent deals I thought at the time. And yeah, this is one that hasn't really heated up, a lot, so I think it's still one you get at a fair price, kind of a sleeper book. But again, my pick of this Damian range, and just a great cover if you're a Batman fan. This is first Damian as Batman, so you do kind of get a bit of a first appearance in there. And yeah, first Professor Pig, but yeah, if I remember reading it, like, I think they just show him like crucified, like it's like he's like dead, and they're like, oh, there's Professor Pig. I'm pretty sure. It's been a while since I read it, but a great issue, one of my favorite, and yeah, fits on a sleeper list that you can get for a fair value right now. All right, that is the full list there of 7. Let's get into some top picks, because yeah, it was really hard to narrow them down, but yeah, I love these sleeper CGC 9.8 videos here. First top pick at the top here. I think it's got to be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 5th print. These are so collectible. I have a feeling over time they're going to be very collectible. Pretty good bet that they'll be good investments, I think. Anything to do with the first appearance of the Ninja Turtles, even though these are reprints, but they're still very early reprints, I think. A cool cover on this 5th print. Only 12 in the 9.8. Like, yeah, this is one I want. It's under 500 still in the 9.8. I would have, I would probably insta-buy that if I saw it in Canada at 475, kind of, with a decent shipping kind of deal. Second one here in the top picks is Batman 666. Yeah, I got 2 of them in the 9.8. I love Batman. And I did, back when I bought those, I was really like, okay, you know what, 655, there's a lot of them on in the 9.8. 656, not really liking as much. When you read them, it's just a kid, like it's Damian as a kid. So yeah, just my pick out of the range for that era, Batman 666. Still a good price too. Third one here, it was so hard. Like, I went with G.I. Joe, Real American Hero #100. That is a really cool cover, I think. It's one even, when I see it, I'm always like, wow, great cover. If I see it on Instagram or whatever it might be. And in the 9.8, looking great, only 24 on the census. So probably that's my third pick. But yeah, there's that Ewok cover. Like, I think that one is, especially with Go Collect, showing the fair market value at 90. But then, like, Dark Knight's Metal too. Yeah, really hard to kind of just get top picks here, because reading the Dark Knight's Metal 2 this morning, that Batman Who Laughs cameo is a legit cameo and a great spread, great art. But yeah, even that Bagley variant, like, yeah, it's just too, I want that one too. So kind of too hard to narrow it down to top picks. But okay, solid list here of 7 sleeper CGC 9.8 comics that you can buy right now. And yeah, emphasizing that buy right now, I think these ones, you can, if you're patient and you know the fair market value, like, you can get these at a fair value. They're not inflated, like, there's not a ton of promo about any of these books. So yeah, good solid prices for these, and certainly that's the style I like to stick to here on most of the videos. All right, thanks so much for watching today. If you haven't already, I would invite you to join the team and subscribe to Team CGC 9.8. Hit the bell for all the latest video notifications, and add me on Instagram and Twitter as well. Message me on Instagram too if you want. Yeah, I love all the conversations I'm having with, if you're buying 9.8s or got a 9.8 question, yeah, just send me a message on Instagram. Probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. Okay, thank you very much. Hope you got some ideas, and thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.